9/11 was, in fact, an inside job. That is the claim that we are going to be proving today in the show. A lot of big, important topics to cover as well. Joe finished up with an interview, a very important one that is going to be published soon, a far left interview.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I thought it was a little bit gay, but it'll probably be good. It'll probably be good.
Why would you say it's a gay?
I just thought it was a little bit gay. It's all good. Maybe I'm being a little mean. If you're watching right now, sir, I thought you did an excellent job with the interview, and I'm only saying that because I want you to have a favorable post about it. But no, seriously, it was good. It was good. He seemed like a nice guy. I did get a little bit of a vibe that maybe he was going to try to do a hit piece, but hopefully not. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
You know, hit piece or no hit piece, he got to hear it, right? And he asked questions, and I was able to, to articulate what happened over the last 4 years, especially with Eric Coomer and everything else. So, the reality is that I do want to get back to a place where we dialogue about different things and really just, I don't know, test the waters a little bit and make sure that we're as people not getting left behind by politicians that don't give a crap about us.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at it and a good thing to do. But he's not going to like the show today, though, because we're going to be proving one of the biggest conspiracy theories of all time, one that he probably hates, doesn't want to, no one wants to admit it, which is, of course, that it doesn't make any sense, the story they tell us about 9/11. Now we have a lot of information, a lot of research went into today's show. We're going to compare two different accidents. One, a plane crashing into the Empire State Building. This happened in 1945 versus 2001, what happened with the World Trade Centers. Now, you'd think there'd be more similarities than there are.
Wait, hold on. That actually happened? 1945?
Yeah, that's a real thing.
I'm gonna learn something today.
It is fascinating stuff. So stay tuned today. Your eyes are going to be opened. Your mind is going to be blown. And it's going to be an incredible show when we come back from the break.
Take two. Cut.
Take two.
I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
All right, follow me with this.
But they've been using their power to obstruct and stop justice from taking place.
You want to pray us out?
I do.
We'll pray for Tina. And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Check this out. On July 28th, 1945, a B-25 Mitchell bomber crashed into the Empire State Building's 79th floor in dense fog, killing 14 crew, 11 office workers, and injuring 26. Piloted by L.T. William Smith Jr., the plane en route from Massachusetts to New York hit at 250 miles per hour, going very fast, causing a massive fire and over $1 million in damage, which adjusted for inflation is way more than $1 million. So that, the building's robust design, somehow, we can put up a picture of it, take a look at this, somehow it was able to almost entirely go unscathed from the standpoint of the rest of the building. That's insane. And let's put up the other picture, because that is, I believe we now know that's an AI photo of it, but it is a real event that did happen, and it was actually even less damage than shown in that photo, which is remarkable because it went very fast into the building. And so you compare 9/11 right there, where the whole building collapses because of the plane going into it, a way more modern crash, by the way, in a building that was supposed to be almost indestructible. And you compare that to what happened with the B-25 in 1945, and it's not even close. It's night and day. Now, here's some facts about this, and we're going to go ahead and put up the picture in a second here, showing the difference. I'm going to go ahead and send a couple more pictures that are being sent to us right now that I think are important to look at. But the 1945 Empire State Building crash and the 9/11 World Trade Centers attacks, while both involving plane strikes on iconic New York skyscrapers, differ significantly in cause, scale, impact, and context. So here's the information. It was a single B-25D Mitchell, a 10-ton military bomber with a 67-foot wingspan. You'd think would actually be even more impactful, right, Joe? 1,000 gallons of fuel traveling 250 miles per hour compared to 9/11, which was 2 Boeing 767s, each 150 tons with a 120-foot wingspan, carrying up to 24,000 gallons of fuel each. So obviously a difference in size, that's somewhat significant. But at the same time, the Empire State Building had almost no damage compared to the 9/11 towers, which crumbled entirely. Does that make any sense? Is it the case that we are being fed a lot of lies about this? And the Empire State Building, the explosions that we saw as it was coming down, was it an inside job? Did the planes crashing into it only play a small role in the overall disaster that day that was planned on purpose for insurance purposes to be able to cause another war in the Middle East for the Israeli government? Why are we being lied to about this?
Are you asking me?
I am.
So do you know where I was on September 11th?
Tell me the story.
I was in jail. No, seriously, I was in jail. So I was at the football game the night before, September 10th. Ed McCaffrey broke his leg playing the New York, the Giants. And I had a Plymouth Prowler. Remember the Prowler? You don't. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Brand new, had a temp tag on the back.
Drove my Prowler around all the time.
I had a bunch of cash in my pocket. And a guy was running up a hill with a police helmet. And he had stolen the helmet from the cops. And he throws the helmet to me inside the things I'm holding. The cops come up. And I start laughing at the police officer. Probably wasn't a good thing to do. And he pulled me out of the car. And because I started mouthing off to him. I was young, so I wasn't. And so he arrested me. They made me stay in a holding cell till the morning, and then they let me go. So that was September 11th. That was 9/11. Now, I will say this: it shaped my opinion of what not to do. Like when a police officer runs up the hill, and you're laughing at him because he, I thought it was funny. It wasn't funny.
You had a couple too many donuts that morning. Is that?
It was back when I was super young and super dumb. So it was, I think I was 26 at the time, 25. But here's my family was adversely affected in this. I have family from New York all the way down to Washington, D.C. And so I couldn't believe that. I don't think anybody could, that airplanes could take down the World Trade Center. But it wasn't actually the World Trade Centers that were a problem. It was Building 7 that was a problem, which fell 14 hours afterwards. And they said it was because of fire damage. You can't have fire damage that would cause a plane or cause something to fall like that.
It's not possible.
And so but then you keep seeing all these other crashes and just the way the buildings are built in New York City. And I don't know. Do I think it is a conspiracy? I don't know. I'd like to say it's not. But then I look at what they've done with elections and the government's lied to us over and over and over again. And it leads me to believe that could be.
Who benefited the most? A morbid question to ask, but a fair one to ask. Who benefited the most from 9/11?
It wasn't the Iraqi people. It wasn't the Afghanis. It wasn't Muslims, because they were demonized to no end, which continues to this day. I don't know. I mean, it'd be hard pressed to say that it wasn't the really bad people. That's who it benefited.
You want to name them, Joe?
You can name away. I'll agree with or disagree with you.
Okay. I mean, Larry Silverstein, very top of the list as an individual. When it comes to governments, Israeli government benefited a lot from it. You could argue a couple other countries within the Middle East maybe benefited from it slightly. But undeniably, the Israeli government, who felt a serious threat to their security as a country. They felt like they were going to be toppled, taken down, bombed, and that there was going to be no chance for survival unless a much bigger power, the United States comes to mind, was able to come in and wipe out their enemies for them, to help them. A story that we've seen playing out over and over and over again. As we know, undeniably, that right now it's happening again, basically. And there's going to be, once more, a plane or something, some kind of incident that is going to spark outrage, and they're going to get the same thing again. Trump, we have a clip of him. This is pretty funny, where he basically says that neither of them know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, he broke character.
Are we allowed to cuss now that Trump did? I feel like if Trump can cuss, we can all cuss.
Because then we have to go back and we have to cut it and we have to bleep it out for all the other versions. By the way, make sure you guys mark that down.
That's fine, Joe. We're not monetized on YouTube yet, so I think we can cuss until we're monetized.
Well, they'll pull you off of Apple Podcasts, though.
Dang it.
Yeah. So, no, we got to play it. We got to play it because this is fire. This is President Trump this morning, after figuring out that there's no self-control on the Israeli leadership side at all. Let's play it. Yeah, turn it up a little bit.
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you have a response to Iran?
It's just so awesome.
You know, he's up. You could tell that he's visibly upset. He's visibly upset over the fact that and this is what I talk about when I say that adults are acting like children. Children have to follow us. Is that he says, okay, we got a ceasefire. Both sides have agreed that they're going to have a ceasefire. President Trump acknowledges that the base in Qatar was bombed by Iran. Prior to that, Iran called President Trump and said, look, we're gonna retaliatory. It's this largely ceremonial, right? Which I think is stupid too. Just shows how immature we are collectively. But Israel had an opportunity to just put it to rest if they wanted to. And yet chaos again favors the op, doesn't favor the people. And we're right back in that same boat that we were in before, where we're controlled by people that want to give us a narrative and say, oh no, we had to go do this. Well, there's no excuse for Israel to do what they did. None. You go out and you bomb Iran again. You create more animosity because you want war. You've already decided. You've decided that you want war, and you've decided that no matter what, you're going to do whatever it takes in order to make sure you have war. And here we are. We're right back in the same place we were 2 days ago. And the antagonist in all this is Bibi, the 5'5" midget with a Napoleon complex.
Candace Owens eloquently compared him to Hitler today in a pretty fascinating post, which I liked a lot. That's going viral. It's getting a lot of attention, where Candace Owens basically goes through in detail talking about how Netanyahu is exactly what she was told Hitler was like in high school. Now, someone tried to expose her for that, basically saying that this was a gloves off moment. This was a mask off moment showing the real Candace Owens, trying to insinuate that she is a Nazi and wants to do Nazi things. But in reality, what she's saying, the case she's making is fair. And it's fair because it is true that Benjamin Netanyahu, and I'm going to go ahead and read her post because I feel like she says it better than I can from paraphrasing her. So here's a post that Candace Owens made. There it is. Super offended that anyone ever thought I was wearing a mask, so allow me to be more unequivocal in my approach. Gaza is a concentration camp where an open genocide is taking place. It has taken Goebbels level propaganda to try to convince the world it isn't happening, but it is. If you don't know who Goebbels is, reference to the Hitler propaganda machine in Germany. Just like Adolf Hitler, Bibi Netanyahu is an ethnocentric imperialist monster, and we will make sure the world remembers what all of you supported when God has his vengeance. With enough time, I'm sure Hitler would have been very open to similarly running a sophisticated global blackmail ring with Jeffrey Epstein, and perhaps would have even orchestrated the assassination of a sitting U.S. president, JFK reference, or conducted a false flag or two to demand our allegiance. Let me know how horrified you are by this comparison, and I'll let you know how little we care. I'll never stand with genocidal maniacs who are committing an open Holocaust and trying to usher in World War III, all while purporting to be eternal victims. That was really well said. And it goes to show you that people are now willing to speak the truth. People are willing to say things that are controversial that you're not allowed to say. And you would have been banned at any other point in social media history, on any other platform, for just saying those things, which now most people believe. It's crazy how big of a paradigm shift we have had through X, and Candace Owens is taking that torch and running with it right now.
You know, the dangerous part about this, and if we're being honest, is that it's not, Bibi doesn't stand for the people of Israel. They're largely captured. And there's a video out there that you guys aren't aware of, and I'm see if I can put it up there so you guys can play it. I'll put it in the deal, but in the comments section.
And while you guys are putting up the video, we also now have the picture ready that was just sent in. Take a look at this. So this is one of the other angles of the damage. This shows what happened to the Empire State Building after the crash in 1945. It was an 18 by 20 foot hole in the Empire State Building's facade. Fire spread through a few floors.
So how did it only 18 and 20 foot hole if it was 62 foot wingspan?
Doesn't make any sense now, does it? That's only half the wingspan of the plane that went into the World Trade Center. So it's close to the same size plane on a building that is less sophisticated. And you'd have to wonder, I mean, it's not a steel structure. It's largely concrete. It would be more susceptible, you'd think, to certain impacts, maybe a fire, for example, which was put out within 40 minutes. It did have some steel within the structure, obviously, it does. But it's not to the level that the Twin Towers are built, not even close. Only 17 million is the conversion rate, by the way, with inflation to the damage in today's numbers. So 17 million in damage versus 10 billion in damage to the World Trade Centers and the surrounding buildings, including Building 7. South Tower fell 9:59 a.m., North Tower at 10:28 a.m. due to the intense fires weakening steel supports. Why didn't the fires, though, in the Empire State Building that were caused by the bomber that went into it, all of that fuel, shouldn't that have also caused a fire that would cause the Empire State Building to collapse to the ground? In fact, it was even at a more vulnerable point in the building, theoretically. So why do we see such big difference between those two? It's because I believe there were also explosives. You can see if you watch the video closely, there are explosions that seem to come out in weird spots. If you watch the video of the building falling, you can see the explosions. It appears that there was, I do believe, a plane hit the building. I'm not saying that didn't happen. That did happen. But on top of that, they were ready for it with explosives on the inside that were going to be used to take it down. They didn't care that there were 3,000 people in the building. They didn't care that there was going to be more than that, actually, in the building. That's how many people approximately lost their lives. They didn't care that it was going to have a surrounding impact on the area, that all the firefighters were going to get cancer and other extreme health problems as a result of trying to battle these fires and clean up the mess. They didn't care. Because what is 3,000 people if it's about protecting their own interest, which they believe they could save millions of people? So they can justify it morally in their heads. It doesn't actually make it justifiable. It's still as evil as it can possibly get. And that's why I don't as crazy as it sounds, oh, well, they wouldn't have really done that. Well, that's not really possible. If you truly believe that the only way to save your country, millions of people, is to do this, then you could theoretically find a way to justify it in your brain if you are evil enough. And there are many people evil enough to do that. That's what happened. I'm more convinced than ever, looking over these pictures, looking over these stats, that is not something that they can escape from the reality of.
What do you think the outcome is? What do you think the outcome is when you have a nation that is captured, that is largely Jewish, that is largely faith-based? And so a vast majority of Jews are just living their life. Let's just say they're just living their life. They don't agree with Bibi. They think Bibi's trash. The World Economic Forum and the people that run that and you have these eccentric, really just crappy, they call themselves, they come right out, by the way, and say that I'm an atheist. Oh, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. Great. Then so how does all the other fit into that? If you have a country that's captured and people that are out there dropping bombs on innocent people, 38,000 people, Palestinians died in Gaza, women and children. Sorry, that's just women and children. They died in Gaza over the last 12 months. They just killed a bunch of other kids too, women and children. They just literally just happened. They dropped a bunch of bombs on 10 Palestinians died just a day ago, where they were striking civilians that needed aid that were at the Nazarene corridor. Basically, get out. But how do you handle it? I mean, if President Trump is talking about this, and that's why I wanted to show you this video. This video is of Netanyahu way back in the 80s, and Netanyahu had something interesting to say. It's a throwback, and this should tell you everything you need to know about what's happening right now. Let's go and play it. We don't have America with us. USA is not a unified bloc. We have the Senate, the Congress, and a record-strong Jewish lobby on our side. We have a strong influence over the general support in America. America won't force us into anything.
Isn't it amazing how they admit what they're doing and then still try to lie to us to our faces that they're not doing it?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's, we graduate from one to the other because we're trying to look at causation and correlation, right? And everyone that has gone to school anytime in the last 20 years, you've been saying causation does not equal correlation, correlation does not equal causation. And what they're trying to do is separate facts from the result. And I think it's not a conspiracy theory to talk about whether or not they would take down the World Trade Centers. Remember, they found a passport for one of the people that was on the plane on top of the rubble that said that it was a Saudi Arabia guy from Saudi Arabia that flew the plane into the World Trade Center. And they found proof of it because when the things came down, it was right on top. So they treat us like we're stupid. They treat us like we're stupid. And if you look at the atheistic mindset, they're not held to any standard of ethics. What are they going to be ethical to? Why would they be ethical? Why would they be morally right in the head? They don't believe there's any consequences. And they don't believe that they're going to face any consequences. They think they're going to turn into worm food anyway. So I can do whatever I want. What do you think people like that are going to do? What do you think they're going to do?
Evil.
And so we have buildings that blow up, and we have people that die, and some errant rocket from Iran goes and doesn't hit anything, gets shot down, and for that they drop the equivalent of 500,000 pounds of bombs on Iran after a ceasefire.
Did you know that the Israeli government made a ceasefire with Jeffrey Epstein the day before he was murdered?
No,
I'm just kidding. But that's the reference point. I'm a little bit of a joke there, but the reference I'm making here is that they have broken the ceasefire more than 25 5 times that we know recorded. I believe it may have actually been more. I'm trying. The exact number is hard to calculate exactly because they say, oh, well, they broke it first because of this reason or whatever. But in Gaza, they've broken it. In Iran, they've broken it over and over and over again. They postured these ceasefires where they claim they're not going to do anything. They use that to restock ammo. Then they say, okay, well, you guys broke it, whether they did or didn't. Now we're going to go back at you again. So if you're going to trust anyone with a ceasefire, that is the last group of people with the Israeli government that you should be trusting with it. They are going to lie to you over and over and over again because they see themselves as superior in every way to you. And they don't believe that you deserve any chance at negotiation if they already hate you. That's basically the situation that we're in right now. You have to negotiate through force. You can't negotiate through reason with them.
All right. So what if I told you that people, the radicals in Israel, are right now calling for bombs to fall on Americans in the United States?
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
So this is true. There's and I just sent it over. And this is from a rabbi, of all people. One symbolic bomb in Washington will remind Trump that he is not omnipotent and will restore our national honor. So response to that is, we did it on some Tuesday in September, didn't we?
Wow.
Talking about September 11th.
Yeah.
So you want to know how we got into 9/11. It's because of some of the things that they've been putting out there. And from there it says, all the terrorist cells created in the U.S. will surely soon begin to awaken, especially if this whole day isn't one big troll. And then the last one is one Iranian bomb in Washington in an open area. It's funny how it would be an Iranian bomb. And you know who would tell us it's an Iranian bomb? The same faithless zealots that are telling us that we need to go to war and commit American soldiers to that war. See, here's my problem. We need a regime change in Israel. We need a regime change. When you have the people of Israel that are being held hostage by large amounts of faithless, gutless trash, midgets, Zelensky midgets. Zelensky's a midget. Bibi Netanyahu's a midget.
They're all compensating for something. Just put it that way.
Wiener's a little midget too. You know the little wiener guy. What's his name? Wiener?
Yeah. Anthony
Wiener. They're all midgets. They all just are little itty bitty midgets. Like Napoleon midgets. Only worse. Smaller. Little hands.
The tiniest hands.
Tiniest hands.
They have the hands that the media claimed Trump had in 2016. That's how small their hands are.
Yeah. I want to, if we could do this really quick. This just shows you the manipulation. It's really important to show the manipulation. Just cut. I already read those, but bring this other one up that I just put up, if you would. This is a Shulamit Alani. Yes, if we can. This particular deal talks about this is an Israeli politician who served as the government minister, admitting something that I think is really important for us to understand. And look, this is not about being anti-Semitic. This is about restoring. We have to restore truth. And these people are diabolical liars. Sorry, they are. And you don't have this nation in the middle of the Arab Peninsula, and then you have people that have admittedly said that they wanted regime change and that they were going to destroy countries, because that's what happened, and just walk away from it. But this woman talks about how anti-Semitism is what's that? Ready? Let's play it.
Often when there is dissent expressed in the United States against policies of the Israeli government, people here are called anti-Semitic. What is your response to that as an Israeli Jew?
Well, it's a trick. We always use it. When from Europe somebody is criticizing Israel, then we bring up the Holocaust. When in this country people are criticizing Israel, then they are anti-Semitic. And the organization is strong and has a lot of money, and the the ties between Israel and the American Jewish establishment are very strong, and they are strong in this country. As you know, they have power, which it's okay. They are talented people, and they have power, money, and media, and other things. And their attitude is Israel, my country, right or wrong, the identification. And they are not ready to hear criticism. And it's very easy to blame people who criticize certain acts of the Israeli government as anti-Semitics, and to bring up the Holocaust and the suffering of the Jewish people. And that justify everything we do to the Palestinians.
Is that a Freudian slip or just a full admission?
It's full admission. And we're held hostage by it, by the apex of the world. And I hope that President Trump gets with Thomas Massie and realize that Thomas Massie is not against President Trump. Thomas Massie is against AIPAC. Thomas Massie is against the same people that he said don't know what the F they're doing. That's the reality. These people don't know what they're doing. They don't. They do not know what they're doing.
Yeah, Trump is being such a boomer, though, going after Massie. Massie's right. Instead of going after Massie, Trump should team up with Massie. Massie would be more than willing to team up with Trump if they were coordinating in their efforts to push libertarianism and peace. Then we would see a much better country overall. There's a reason why Thomas Massie coded a debt clock that he's able to wear at all times in Congress. He joked that he would change it from a national debt clock into a clock that times the amount of minutes since Donald Trump attacked him, and even joked that perhaps Trump would say that he's about to have a nuclear weapon next, and Thomas Massie needs to be bombed just like Iran. Pretty funny stuff. I want to see them team together. If Trump and Massie are able to join forces, that will never happen at this point because Trump has gone too far off the deep end with attacking him stupidly. Then it would be amazing. That's the one beautiful reunion. I like Thomas Massie more than I like Donald Trump, and I love Donald Trump. That should say something right there.
Yeah, I don't. Again, President Trump is the commander in chief. I don't have to like everything that he does, but I like the values that he has across the board. I don't think bombing Iran was the right thing to do. I don't think standing up for midgets is the right thing to do, whether we're talking about Israel or we're talking about Zelensky. He needs to talk to Bibi the same way he talks to Zelensky, in my opinion.
Yeah, you should. And I will say, I think the bombing of the officials and the scientists was where I draw the line, what the Israeli government did. Putting a few bunker buster bombs after telling the Iranian government that you're coming, say, hey guys, knock, knock, bombs away, 6 o'clock, be ready, get your scientists out. That's not something I really care that much about. I don't have a huge problem if you want to take out nuclear programs from other countries. Okay, fine. That's probably overall a good thing. But then to go a step further and say, now we want regime change, now we want to try to impose our ideals on them, neither of those things ever work long term. Then to go ahead and say, now I want to get more land, now I want to take out any opposition to the genocide being carried out in Gaza, you start to get to a place where eventually it's no longer worth it, where it becomes not just an effort to try to make the world safer, it's an effort to gain more power, to be able to use your military influence to take things from others, whether it's their lives, whether it's their homes, whatever it is. That's the direction that it has been going in and is going in way faster now because of what happened.
Yeah, it's can't we get to the place where we just make sure that make Israel handle their own business? Make it like Morocco. Just do whatever you want. Kick out AIPAC or make them register as a foreign entity, because that's what they are. They're foreign. And the U.S., I just want to talk about the congressman. I don't know if you saw this, but Stu Peters' guys went out and asked them all. Did you see this?
Go ahead and play it.
I don't know if we have it yet. I'm going to see if I can find it really quick. But Stu Peters sent someone into, this is it. I got it right here. It's a little longer. It's 6 minutes. But here's why you need to watch this. Everybody's like, oh, I can't believe you're sharing Stu Peters. Stu Peters is not anti-Semitic. He's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's
Stu
not.
Peters is anti-Semitic.
No way.
Well, he would openly admit that.
No, he wouldn't know. But here's what I think he would admit. He doesn't like Jewish leadership. I don't think if he met a Jew on the street that he'd be like, I'm not going to be friends with him.
I think he would be offended that you are saying he's not anti-Semitic. I
don't
think
think he's anti-Semitic.
He would be very upset to learn that you were calling him not anti-Semitic.
I did, yeah. Yeah, I don't think so. I can ask him. I'm going to ask him.
Yeah, no, ask him.
I'm going to say we're talking about you right now, and I said you're not anti-Semitic. I don't think he is.
Yeah, I want to hear his response to that because I think he's going to be pissed off that you would say that about him.
Hey, we're on the air, and I said you were not anti-Semitic. You were just against the Jewish leadership and this rhetoric and lies that they spread. Period. Matt says you are anti-Semitic, and you would be offended if I said that you weren't anti-Semitic. Period. Set me straight and give me an answer. Are you or are you not anti-Semitic, or are you just tired of this faithless, godless environment? Okay, there we go.
Sound speaker.
All right, let's play the 6 minute. What's it?
What did he? Oh, you send him a text?
Yeah.
I thought he was on the phone. Okay, that would have been cooler if he was on the phone.
Okay.
Is he responding now?
No, he's going to respond. Sorry, I was just talking to Matt DePerno.
Yeah, I thought because you held the phone up, you were using the voice to text feature, so I thought he had answered the phone and you were having a conversation with him.
I should do that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you should do that. Why don't you give him a call?
Yeah. Let me see if he or I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you.
Yeah, because you have to make sure to explain that, otherwise,
settle this.
Yeah, you're texting, you're calling. Yeah, you're gonna look a little too needy.
So let me tell you about. so Stu Peters. Can I say this?
Yeah, I don't care.
All right, Stu Peters. Look, he created a new book.
Yeah.
A new kids book. Now, people are kind of mad that he did this book,
Wholesome.
But it's actually the name of the book is "It's Okay." Here. It's okay to be white. And he crosses out "it's okay" part, and it says it's really fun to be white. And so he's playing against this monicum that they put out there that you should have guilt if you're a child and you're white. And so he's putting it out there for children.
Is he gonna pay us for this? We're gonna get a kick. No, we're not. No.
It's a great book.
I bought it, by the way. I bought it. Why not? I have little kids. I think they would enjoy reading it. So I think it's a good. It's not offensive at all. It's literally just a nice, lovely, wholesome book. I really believe that.
So it actually is
he
not
responded?
a bad book. No, he has.
Yeah, I really want to hear his response. Okay.
I promise you, I'm going to be right.
Yeah, maybe, but you're not really.
He's not.
You're not really right, though.
I am right. All right.
He may not see me. I think you're not, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what he says.
Look, I don't think anybody cares if you're Jewish, if you're Spanish, if you're Catholic, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim. Nobody cares. They don't care. Just don't do bad stuff. And that's all he said is stop doing bad stuff. And there's a fraternity of these atheistic people. And they're bad. They're really, really bad. They own all of the LGMTQ. They own the lobby and AIPAC. All right, but here's a video where we're asking politicians on the left and the right, both. And you decide. Go ahead, play it.
Congressman, my name's Frankie Stocks. I'm a reporter with the Stu Peters Network. I would just love to ask you a quick question. I'm trying to ask every representative I can.
Republican.
Go for it, Frank. That is, do you care more about the American people or Israel as a member of Congress?
I don't think they're mutually exclusive, Frankie.
Can you elaborate?
They're our best ally.
Are they? Who do you care about more, the United States or Israel?
John James, Michigan, Republican.
United States or Israel, sir? No answer? Should we put you down for Israel?
Put him down.
$300,000 Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel?
Jen Keegan.
It's an easy one. American people or Israel?
You don't got to fake a phone call. American people or Israel?
45,000.
Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel?
Tracy Mann.
The American people or Israel, sir?
59,000.
Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel?
John Morrell, Democrat.
No answer?
162,000 from
I think that
AIPAC.
Israel is one of our strongest
Tony
allies
Dowling.
in a part of the world where
Montana
people
Republican.
are trying to harm us, and I think they need our support.
So should the U.S. continue funding Israel? Despite their links to the 9/11,
14,200. He's just getting started. He's just getting started.
Who do you care about more, the United States or Israel?
Mike Kelly.
You know what? That's kind of an odd question to ask.
Well, it's a question the American people have been asking a lot because they're starting to wake up to how much AIPAC money is flowing into the coffers of Congress.
Well, if you watch what I've done over the years since I've been here, the question about do we have strong support for Israel, I think it would be hard to find somebody who's more positive about it than I have. So I'm amazed sometimes at where the American people are and how they think. It's like, this is so against everything I've heard. The people who raised me are accepted. So.
Well, we have American citizens who are about to freeze to death in Western North Carolina, and we're sending millions to Israel.
No, that's not a comparison.
Well, it is a comparison because the money's going out. It's all coming from the same people. It's coming from the taxpayers, sir. Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel? American people or Israel, sir? Sir, they're equal? Are you serving Israel or are you serving America?
I stand with Israel.
Okay, so can you answer the original question? Who do you care about more, U.S. or Israel?
There's no variance. It's like you're asking, do you love your wife more than your daughter?
Well,
and you said it's a simple question.
It is.
Do you love your wife more than your daughter?
I love the United States more than I love Israel. It's a very simple question.
Great love, and you as a human being, you express that love, and you have core principles that drive you to your love for your wife and your love for your daughter. It's two different loves, but neither of them is greater than the other. You understand?
Who's the priority when you're casting a vote in Congress, America or Israel?
Priority is love, son.
Well, it's a very simple question. You're not answering it, Representative.
19,000. Clay's just getting started.
American people or Israel?
Dan Miser.
American people or Israel, sir?
28,000 from AIPAC.
Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel?
Harriet Hagman. 42,000 from
No
AIPAC.
answer?
Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel?
Dale Strong.
American people or Israel?
45,000.
Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel?
Jimmy Panetta. $296,000 from AIPAC.
Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel?
Carol Miller.
Well, who do you care about more?
27,600.
American people or Israel, sir?
Riley Moore.
Who do you care
34,000
about more,
from
the American people or Israel? American people or Israel, sir?
Russell Fry.
Is it so hard to say you care about the American people that you're here to
$45,500
serve?
from AIPAC.
The American people believe that Israel holds disproportionate influence over our own government thanks to organizations like AIPAC who are pumping millions of dollars into American politics promoting Israel First policy. So,
But if you want to share this information, you're doing a great job.
It's not misinformation. We have the campaign finance report, sir.
$60,800 from Dusty Johnson.
Do you care more about the American people or about Israel?
Dan Newhouse.
Where are you from? The Stu Peters Network. The Stu Peters Show just released a film called Occupied on this very subject, which I highly recommend to look up. But can you answer the question, sir? Do you care more about the American people or about Israel?
I'm an American. I care more about the American people.
You care more about the American people?
There's one.
Right, but should Americans take priority over Israel? We know AIPAC's pumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into congressional candidates. They're obviously getting some sway there. Should AIPAC register as a foreign agent?
That's a good question. Don't they already?
No. Yes, sir.
Are you one of those Are you recorded?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Stu Peters Network, Frankie Stocks. We're asking the questions that the American people want answered by their representatives.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Make an appointment. Thank you.
86,000 from AIPAC.
I respect his answer more than the others, though. That was the least.
Congressman. Quick second.
Andy
I'm Frankie
Biggs.
Stocks with the Stu Peters Network. Trying to ask all members I can this question.
watch.
Very simple. Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel?
American people.
You are the first to have given me that answer, sir. Thank you. Yep.
American people. Number one, man. Always.
Who do you care about more, Joe? The American people or Israel?
American people.
Yeah, was that so hard? You have to think about it.
I love my people. American people. I love the American people. I love, I mean, here's my thing. I love Muslims. You'd be like, oh. I do.
I'd say I like Muslims. I love Christians. I'll probably make that distinction.
Nope. I love Christians. I love Catholics. You look, I love everyone except for people that try to do harm. I don't like evil people. Like I mean, frankly, that's just what it comes down to. See, I'm going to separate people based on their behavior than what they do. And most of our leadership's shit. There's only 7,500 people that run this country that are elected. Did you know that? 7,500 people at every level. That's it. 74-68. So they get bought for, you see it, $80,000 a piece. So you can own this entire country for less than $20 billion.
Well, that's also just the AIPAC numbers. If you look at the numbers for social media promotion, quote unquote, and promotion on other channels, it is 10,000 plus at a minimum level for high-ranking members of Congress with large influence. High-ranking senators, they have different tier amounts, but they are making significant portions of money every single time they make a tweet. That doesn't have to be registered at all because all it is social media promotion. It's not anything in relation to the government theoretically. And yet, through those payments, which are massively over the amount that would be fair compensation for that amount of influence, they're getting favorability because they know they'll stop being part of those social media promotion campaigns the second they decide to go against the values that they're told to push forward. That's the real financial aspect to it. We can look at AIPAC numbers. That's important, obviously, but that's only part of it. And really a small part of the total machine that they've built of total control and influence. That's why all of those members of Congress, even if they have significant portions of money, even if they already have their districts locked down, they still have to be subversive because they know they're going to not only have financial ability taken away from them, but they're also going to be attacked. That's why the second to last interview there, he was nervous that he was being recorded because what if they take away his AIPAC money? What if they decide to go after him and take away his ability to be in that position anymore? He doesn't want that to happen, but it will if he's not careful with what he says. Even just saying, I support the American people over the Israeli, over Israel, that alone could get your AIPAC money taken away, could put you on the no-run list. It's remarkable. It really is remarkable.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not pro-Israel. I'm not anti-Israel. I'm pro-America. And I actually think that we should be more that way. And I don't think we spend enough time talking about what people really need. But we certainly can't be diabolical and excuse some of the behavior of these people. It's been way, 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 way past time that we hold people accountable. I'm looking at some of the stuff that Candace Taylor says. Man, she's all over it. She is all over it. I want to put up this, if we can. I want to go back to what's happening, the bombing there. At 5:28 in the morning, President Trump says Israel's not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt, and ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. And then there's a tweet by Syed, if we can put that up, A6. The military operations of our powerful armed forces to punish Israel for its aggression continued until the very last minute at 4 a.m. Together with all Iranians, I think our brave armed forces remain steady to defend our dear country to the last drop of blood, and who responded to any attack by the enemy until the very last minute. And then you have this, if we could put this up. Fox News ceasefire broken. This is what they put. But unfortunately, just an hour into the ceasefire agreement, Israel
Didn't take long.
Claimed Iran attacked them. One missile was sent and did not hit anything, causing them to retaliate and bomb Iran. Let's go ahead and play that.
Through Iranian state TV, the Iranian political echelon is denying that they had anything to do with this violation of the ceasefire. But just when the ceasefire was about 4 hours old, the IDF now says it was 2 missiles that flew into the north of Israel, both of them intercepted, resulting in no injury, but resulting in a fierce response from the top of the military echelons here in Israel. Defense Minister Yisrael Katz saying, I have instructed the IDF to respond forcefully to Iran's violation of the ceasefire with high-intensity strikes against regime.
Yeah, this is crazy. President, we'll go to B9. He further explained the situation to the press after he basically told them, they don't know what they're doing. These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous. I don't like plenty of things that I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made a deal. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. Go ahead and put that up.
I don't think so, but I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target. And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. Ridiculous. I didn't like plenty of things I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either. All I do is play both sides.
All he does is play both sides.
I love the way he talks. He's a master. He really is the master at press conferences, at being able to string together words in an eloquent way. I mean, just the way, it's just incredible how he's able to say something so serious in such a nonchalant way that's extremely powerful. The way he's able to orate, if that's the word, or orate, what's the word? Orate. The way he's able to orate is better than me, obviously. I don't even know how to use the word orate in a sentence.
Yes, you do.
So it's I love it. I think, and I'm glad Trump is finally standing up to Israel a little bit. It's largely fake because at the end of the day, he'll do what they want.
That's not true. I don't think it's true.
He's changing.
He went further. He unloaded on CNN and MSNBC right afterwards. He had this to say. Play 10.
I think it's been completely demolished. I think the reason we're here is because those pilots, those B-2 pilots, did an unbelievable job. And, the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean.
You don't believe that Iran can rebuild its nuclear program?
Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there? Absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon, and they hit that target with every one of those things, and that place is gone. But when I see CNN all night long, they're trying to say, well, maybe it wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks, and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSDNC ought to apologize. I think these guys really, these networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are. You're real losers.
Israel says that
You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have no choice. I got to watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news. But I think CNN is a gutless group of people. And the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many times. But the people that run it ought to be ashamed. MSDNC, a guy named Brian Roberts, he heads it. He's a disgrace. He's a weak, pathetic disgrace.
He's also a little man. He's like 5'4". Off to see the wizard. Okay, so what do you think? You think it's time for a regime change
in Israel? Yeah, we need to kick Netanyahu out and put in someone who's willing to. It's not the same thing. Netanyahu's breaking the ceasefire, not listening to the rules of war, genocide, etc. That he's playing a large part in leading. Shouldn't we regime change Israel? Why wouldn't we do that? Don't we have that power, or do they actually have the power over us? Because if we had the power, wouldn't we do that?
Do you think that Lindsey Graham's ever been to the Middle East?
Yeah, you didn't see he was deployed in the Middle East, front lines, combat fighter, carrying a machine gun.
That never happened.
Acting like Rambo, taking out other bad guys. You didn't see that? Well, that wasn't. Was that someone else?
No,
that was Lindsey Graham.
He did have this to say. He wants to make a decision because he's not a puppet. But yeah, this is not what a puppet looks like. It's like this.
I hate Lindsey Graham so much.
To our friends in Israel, finish the job. Do what you have to do to bring about the regime change that will allow your children to sleep through the night. To the American people, wake up. Understand what we're fighting. The Ayatollah is not normal. These are not normal people. Stand with Israel.
They're not normal people. All right, let me tell you what he's saying. He's saying that 92 million people are expendable because he says so. And then President Trump had to set Lindsey Graham. By the way, Mr. President, you deserve every bit of respect in the world from me anyway, right? So I'm just going to tell you that from my standpoint, I don't think that people say, "Oh, you support President Trump." No, I will talk about things I don't like, but I will also say that you have shown a consistency in character which is not seen by almost any men. But President Trump had this to say about this regime change. Let's play it.
Do you want to see regime change in Iran?
No. If there was. But no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change takes chaos. And ideally, we don't want to see so much chaos. So we'll see how it does. The Iranians are very good traders, very good business people. And they got a lot of oil. They should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job.
I want you guys to see this. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. We got about 20 minutes left in the show. But before we go to commercial break, we have a quick announcement. We talked about this before. We partnered with the friends over at AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to offer you a complimentary membership. It's a 1-year membership just to be a part of the Untamed family. You get to hang out there. If you've never heard of AMAC, they're a leading conservative alternative to the AARP. I actually want to get everyone away from AARP. Everyone. I want them all. Just get away from them. AARP is one of the leading organizations that gives money to radical leftist groups. And I'm not saying left groups like Democrats. I'm saying radical groups, and has supported some of the chaos that happens in our streets. So as a member, you'll get access to money-saving benefits, news you can trust, no credit card needed at all. You also get a subscription to the AMAC magazine and a chance to make your voice heard through their arm, AMAC Action, which is basically their policy arm. So yeah, go to amac.us/untamed and sign up today. That's amac.us/untamed. We'll be right back. We're going to go to commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about this ex-CIA agent who called it before, came out and told us what they did to steal the elections. even though they want to gaslight us. And we'll talk about that and much more. Yeah, we'll be back. In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Gabe! Dude, Gabe, something's in the dumpster.
Whoa, what is that for?
Something's in the dumpster, man.
Well, let's use the burner. We don't want to wake the neighbors. Freeze! Stop resisting!
Stop resisting! If you're looking for a less than lethal option for self-defense or keeping pests out of your dumpster, then check out Byrna at DCF Guns. Visit us at our 3 locations in Castle Rock or Colorado Springs, or visit us online at dcfguns.com.
Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter.
It was around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I received an email from PayPal. It showed in this email that there was a debit in my PayPal account that was going to be taken out. I don't remember following the link in the email even. I think I went straight to the PayPal account, and that pending debit was there. And it was for about $1,000, I believe, so it was a lot of money. So I called the phone number on that email. And it kind of, the way this guy was talking, I didn't even question what he was saying. And I've worked with computers for the past 40 years. And he just kept convincing me, and he was a legitimate person that was going to fix my computer, and I had faith in him that he was doing his job. I got in the car and I drove, and my
Bro, this is disturbing. Gary Berntsen, he's a former CIA officer and chief of station. He's the one that came out and talked about how they stole the election in 2020 and how they continue to steal elections, not just at the highest level, but downstream. It was almost as if I was the one that was talking about this in his words that came out 2.5 years later. He first published it in, I think, June or July of 2024. here's the video. And you're going to have to listen to this. He's asking President Trump to get involved in the DOJ to interview in a trial that will take place next week. He said the person going to trial is willing to testify on Venezuelan tactics and election manipulation, including 2020, but also supporting Iran in the U.S. You got to hear this. Let's go ahead and listen to Gary.
Dear Mr. President, my name is Gary Berntsen. I'm a retired CIA senior operations officer and former chief of station. I've had the privilege of leading a dedicated team of whistleblowers who have uncovered critical information about the 2020 election fraud, which we've shared with the Department of Justice and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Additionally, I provided the first reports on the dangerous Tren de Aragua gang to U.S. law enforcement and have contributed to some of the largest money laundering investigations ever submitted to the U.S. government. A key component of proof of the 2020 election theft is about to be squandered. I'm reaching out because we need your leadership to address an urgent matter to protect our nation's security. The DOJ is about to lose critical testimony from a witness willing to cooperate in investigations of election fraud, espionage, and Tren de Aragua. Instead of seeking this testimony and a trove of supporting documents, the DOJ is putting this witness on trial next week on a decade-old drug trafficking charge. In 2021, General Hugo Carvajal, the former head of Venezuela's military intelligence under Hugo Chavez, was arrested in Spain. He was extradited to the U.S. in July 2023. Carvajal has been in federal custody in New York for 2 years. As Chavez's trusted confidant, Carvajal has unparalleled knowledge of Venezuela's primary role in U.S. and global election fraud, the creation and spread of Tren de Aragua into the U.S. and beyond, and intelligence operations involving Cuban, Russian, Chinese, and Iranian intelligence services against our country. Carvajal's first-hand testimony is key to prosecuting the conspirators involved in stealing the 2020 election. Carvajal also knows which U.S. citizens have been compromised by the Venezuelan regime. That knowledge alone puts him in danger even inside the United States. Although he is no angel, his cooperation will start a cascade of other witnesses willing to cooperate as the international conspiracy finally falls apart. His knowledge of the networks of espionage agents for America's enemies is key to preventing more damage from espionage and sabotage. Here's the immediate concern. The DOJ's Southern District of New York and Principal Associate Attorney General Emile Beauvais plan to focus solely on prosecuting Carvajal for a 2011 drug trafficking charge. They see him as a common drug trafficking suspect and are ignoring his knowledge of the 2020 election fraud and of hostile intelligence activities against the United States. There are indications that the Venezuelan regime currently is assisting Iranian intelligence agents preparing to strike inside the U.S. imminently. Carvajal's knowledge of the people and methods used are still relevant and may be critical to preventing attacks. Once convicted of drug trafficking in next week's trial, Carvajal will have little or no reason to share his direct and extensive knowledge of how the election manipulation conspiracy works or about Tren de Aragua and espionage, issues far more critical to our national security. The drug trafficking trial is set to begin in about a week, so I respectfully ask for your intervention to force SDNY to seek to delay the trial long enough to explore the value of this critical witness. Moreover, to protect him from potential threats by the Venezuelan regime or the cartels, I suggest the Attorney General consider transferring Carvajal to a secure military facility such as Marine Corps Base Quantico, where he can be debriefed safely. Your leadership could make all the difference in safeguarding our nation and uncovering the truth. Thank you for considering this request. May God continue to bless and protect you, Mr. President, and may God bless America. With respect and gratitude, Gary Berntsen.
Wow. When people who have ultimate credibility are screaming the truth right in front of your face, and you refuse to listen, you refuse to take action, you become the problem.
I agree. Well, I'm going to run through a bunch of things with you guys just to give you an update on some things. We're about out of time. First of all, President Trump asked if he was going to see Zelensky at NATO. And President Trump said no, because he's not tall enough. You probably wouldn't find him in the crowd. Okay, just kidding. He didn't say that. He said, nah, he's a little midget like Bibi. Okay, he might not. He didn't say that either. He said he may see him, and he'll just say, how you doing? All right, we have to play it. This is President Trump. Ask stupid questions, get stupid answers. Play it.
Do you think you'll meet with Zelensky when you're there?
Yeah, probably. I'll see him. Yeah.
What would you say to him?
Say, how you doing? He's in a tough situation. Should have never been there.
How's the weather down there?
How's the weather down there? Hey, while you're down there, they got something on my shoes. He also went scorched earth on AOC. This was funny. She threatened to launch articles of impeachment against him, which, by the way, if you don't get the elections under control in 2026, we don't have a country. But, you guys got it all figured out. I mean, you can't even stop people from bombing each other. But here's what he had to say about AOC. This was funny. Okay. Almost there. Maybe. Bring it on back to the side. Oh, you do? Is it? Let's see here. Oh my gosh, it's a long one. It's not a video. Someone needs to take President Trump's phone away from him. He wrote a long one. Ready? Stupid AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one of the dumbest people in Congress, now calling for my impeachment, despite the fact the crooked and corrupt Democrats have already done it twice before. The reason for her ranting is that the victory is all of the victories and the USA has had under the Trump administration. Democrats aren't used to winning, and she can't stand the concept of our country being successful again. When we examine her test scores, we will find that she is not qualified for office, but nevertheless far more qualified than Crockett, who is a seriously low IQ individual, or Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complains about our country. Yet the failed country that she comes from doesn't have a government, is drenched in crime and poverty, and is rated one of the worst in the world. If it's even rated at all, how dare the mouse tell us how to run the United States of America? We're just now coming back from the radical left experiment with Sleepy Joe, Kamala, and the open pen in charge. What a disaster it was. AOC should be forced to take the cognitive test that I just completed at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of my physical. As a doctor in charge said, President Trump aced it. I got every answer right. Instead of her constant complaining, Alexandria should go back home to Queens, where I was also brought up, and straighten out her filthy, disgusting, crime-ridden streets in the district she represents, and which she would never goes to anymore. She better start worrying about her own primary before she thinks about beating our great Palestinian senator, crying Chuck Schumer, whose career is definitely on thin ice. She and her Democrat friends have just the lowest poll numbers in congressional history. So go ahead and try to impeach me again. Make my day.
That's great. Great stuff.
Dude, I'm kind of mad that he didn't answer yet.
Come on, Stu. What are you doing? What is he?
All right. We're out of time. So what do we conclude about the World Trade Centers?
The World Trade Centers were definitely taken out as a combination of the planes flying into them, which was orchestrated and planned, do you really think it's possible for two clearly infiltrating guys to come in? More than that, really, if you look at all the planes that were set to be crashing that day, 3 of them have, 1 of them didn't. They tell us those guys were able to get into the systems, build the trust, get into those positions, learn how to fly the planes. They were willing for that extended period of time to commit their lives to doing this. There wasn't any threat to them. They weren't told to do it. No one orchestrated it. No one explained to them how to get in the systems or make it work. There wasn't any security that was able to catch it or stop it ahead of time, not even with the second plane, which makes no sense. Then you see the clouds of smoke that are coming out from the sides of the building, many floors down from where the collapse is happening. Then you look at the steel structure and you realize it doesn't make a lot of sense that it will collapse in the way it did. Then you look at Building 7. Then you look at the Pentagon and how there's no plane that's visible there and not even any real accordance of that even ever happening in the way they described. At some point, when you add all of that evidence together, you either have to say that it's one of the biggest coincidence-filled events in history, or there's more than they're telling us, or that it was, in fact, orchestrated to a degree that's hard to even comprehend or imagine for a person who doesn't have the capacity for evil.
Yeah, no question. Supreme Court. Oh, the last thing that we have to talk about. I guess we do have to talk about this. Did you see this? Supreme Court? I'm a little perplexed here. SCOTUS ruling: the U.S. Supreme Court lifts nationwide injunction and allows Trump administration to deport foreign nationals to third-party countries. Well, there you go. You have 2 that actually dissented in it: Justin Sotomayor and Justin Kagan.
Justin Sotomayor, interesting. Is there? We got a hybrid. Couple of judges smashed together, molded together, and add a little bit of heat.
Well, just so you know, this means that guy that they had in custody, they can ship him out.
He's out of there. He's gone.
Oop, see ya. Get out. So that was a short-lived deal. Brought him back to the United States. A judge ruled that he wouldn't be held while he was facing trafficking charges. And now President Trump and the group is going to be able to pick him up and send him out. All right. You get to finish us, or you get to pray us out.
It's actually your turn, Joe.
No, it's your turn.
Because I prayed out yesterday. So that would be...
I wasn't here, so I didn't get to hear it.
So then it's my turn to pray us out.
It's your turn.
I really like hearing your prayers, Joe. Your prayers are top tier. Dear Lord, right now we are watching as the world unfolds into a more chaotic space than it has been in a very long time, as we are on the precipice of things happening that could change the world forever for the worse. As people are not acting in your name, people are not acting with mental clarity, people are not acting in accordance with what they are supposed to do to get closer to you and get closer to the kingdom of heaven. Open our eyes to the problems that we are creating as individuals. Open our eyes to be able to see a path clearly to what is right for leadership, for people in positions of power, even if it's just as small as being able to cast one vote. Allow everyone with any amount of power to do good on earth to be able to have their perspective changed, to be open to new information, and to be open to being able to see things more clearly and differently. Amen.
Amen. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We won't talk about World Trade Center tomorrow, but we probably will talk more about AIPAC tomorrow.
Yeah, we're not going to mention AIPAC, Trump, Iran, World Trade Center, conspiracy theories, Stu Peters, none of that stuff tomorrow. We're going to do a show. It's just going to be a black box the whole time with no audio.
You're going to get black boxed again?
No. I'm not going to get black boxes again. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. Well, one of these days it'll happen. One of these days.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same station. Actually, we'll be on time tomorrow.